what on earth does Invisible Woman Syndrome have to do with supplements? Actually, they are connected, I promise. As you'll see, patience. Sam Fox, who's the lead character in Better Things, summed it up. You're primed, you're prepped, abused, adored, and then it all stops. Even all the bad stuff, like being fetishized and diminished, that stops. Why? Because you've hit 50, which means you've officially, poof, become invisible. You are now an invisible woman. At least 70% of women report feeling invisible. Dr. Vivian Diller wrote a whole book about it. She had been a dancer and a model, and then you hit midlife, your looks change, and the outside, the exterior suddenly matters in a way it never used to. I definitely feel your pain because it happened to me. I had my 50th birthday, and then pretty much immediately after, like, whew, I vanished. You're invisible now. Poof, bye-bye. I decided the pen is mightier than the Invisible Woman Syndrome. I was like, what's the most uninvisible thing I could be? Well, supernova. It's hard to get more uninvisible than that. I wrote a handbook of how I eat and train to feel uninvisible, called, cleverly, Become Un-Invisible. For me, it started with feeling good. And once I felt better and I felt uninvisible, then I could be uninvisible and I could go and be my most supernova-y. What I'm going to share today is my Supernova supplement plan. Show you the strategy I use, the overall context. It was important for me to be more strategic about it, knowing where I want to head, the hallmarks of health, where I don't want to head, the hallmarks of aging, and then which supplements support the first, health, and don't do any harm and send me in the direction of the second, which is aging. My wallet and my health. They say, thanks, but no thanks. How many supplements are you taking right now? When they surveyed people, they found the heaviest users, or should I say the most enthusiastic users of supplements were women over 60. The bulk of us take at least one supplement, and some of us, like yours truly, might take 4 or more. But I base it on science. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. What I'll share with you today is the stuff that's either harmful or doesn't have any benefit, or both. The ones that get a big, yeah, hell no. What I call my supplement wall of shame. Then there's my supplement hall of fame. Supplements that tried and true, a lot of testing and peer-reviewed research behind it, and a few that are a little more speculative. But the research that has been coming out about it is pretty impressive. My promise to you today is to give you the most up-to-date science and evidence-based info on supplements as related to longevity and health span, so you can make the smartest choices for you. First though, close your eyes. Just do it. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself at your most seen, your most supernova-y. What are you doing? What are you wearing? How do you feel? Fix that image in your mind, and where in your body is that feeling? How would you describe it, and where is it? Find an image that for you sums up that feeling and make it your saver on your phone. I think it's really important to remind yourself on a daily basis of feeling like a supernova. Everything else flows from that. It all starts at the top, right? I base my Hallmarks of Health on this paper that was published in the journal Cell. These are the main buckets to focus on: lean mass, maintaining muscle, healthy body weight, looking after your heart with enough exercise. So obviously cardio training, weight training, not optional, and then daily movement, about 8,000 steps or more. Ditching the toxic habits, things like booze and cigarettes, kidney health, and blood sugar and liver health. Then we have the Hallmarks of Aging, published by the same authors that created the Hallmarks of Health. The benchmark that people use when they talk about this is anti-aging, this is aging. There's 3 big areas for aging, and there's a hierarchy, and they sort of flow from the top. The first is called primary damage. That is focused on your DNA and how your DNA is read and expressed, which is your epigenome. So epigenetics. Damage to your DNA and your cells, your genome accumulates over time, and it definitely unambiguously contributes to aging. So the biggest needle movers have to do with focusing on avoiding damage to DNA and epigenome. So that's first, primary damage. Then you have a response to primary damage, which the authors call antagonistic damage. And that's where you get into dysfunctional mitochondria. Say it with me, mitochondria are the, yes, powerhouses of the cell. Sorry, I couldn't help it. That's where you get into cellular senescence, when cells become so damaged they turn into zombie cells, essentially, and harm happens that way. Mitochondria are not functioning. That's as a response to all that primary damage. The upstream damage to your DNA and epigenetic damage. The third bucket of harm is a response to the first 2, integrative. We have chronic inflammation and stem cell exhaustion. Cells don't communicate as well anymore. But again, chronic inflammation is more of a downstream effect. I would rather start at the top. It just seems like a smarter way to go about it. The current thinking on what drives aging, you've got your chronological age, and then you've got your biological age. And the way that the authors of this paper, it's called Loss of Epigenetic Information. It's this information model of aging. You have your DNA, which is your hardware, essentially your biological hardware, and then how it's read and expressed, the software, or the epigenetic information. So if you have hardware that's in perfectly good condition, DNA, no problem. But if the software is corrupted, that's where the problems stem. And that's essentially where our aging comes from, is this corrupted software. The epigenome is our aging clock that we want to address. When you have DNA damage, it leads to responses that erode the epigenetic landscape. And the interesting thing about the epigenetic landscape, which I think is a really evocative image, is that it can be manipulated to age faster, or you can rewind it. I love that. So we have a lot of control if we focus on making sure our epigenetic landscape remains beautiful and not eroded and nasty. Here's a nice visual. You've got a baby born with all its DNA hopefully intact, and it hasn't lived long enough to have any epigenetic damage yet. However, as you age, you start to get DNA damage, you get epigenetic damage, and essentially it's almost like as you age and the epigenetic landscape gets eroded, cells almost lose their identity. They forget what they're supposed to be doing. I put forget in air quotes. Things that should be turned on aren't, or they're turned on and should be off. Eye cells act like liver cells. The reason a woman getting some epigenetic damage can give birth to a baby with intact DNA is how evolution makes sure that we can keep propagating the species. So obviously it prioritizes DNA integrity and the health of your DNA over epigenetic health. That's super important when we look at how to focus on keeping our epigenetic landscape intact. Now, Ramon from Wellness Messiah, I must give him a hat tip for a cool way to think about your epigenetics. Think of it as you're a car. If I was a car, I am a mid-60s Shelby Mustang in rare black. That is me. I'd be driving that baby. However, it gets damaged. Damage accumulates, you fix it. And he said, think about it like you teach the car to fix itself. You make sure the blueprint, the hardware, stays intact, and the software doesn't become corrupted. But if the software does get corrupted, those connections get lost. So we need to start now keeping those connections from being lost. There's two enzymes in particular we want to focus on. So we've got DNA repair, and then we've got epigenetic integrity. And these enzymes, these PARPs, which is one of these long names, don't worry about it, people just refer to it as PARPs. Those enzymes are responsible for DNA repair. And their food, if you will, is molecule NAD+. NAD+ has a ton of different functions, but for our purposes, longevity and health span, that's what we'll focus on. Now, the other enzyme are called sirtuins. Sirtuins are masters of epigenetic integrity. And because the purpose of passing on your genes, DNA takes preference over your epigenetic expression. If there's DNA damage in the lab, when they've induced DNA damage, they've shown that actually sirtuin activity will downregulate and plus, or the PARPs are preferentially given access to the NAD+. PARPs and sirtuins compete for them. When they do induce genetic damage, epigenetic aging speeds up, that clock speeds up. One of the supplements I'll talk about in my supplement hall of fame is a way of making sure there's enough NAD+ to go around, both for the PARPs and for my delightful, precious, valuable sirtuins that keep my epigenetic landscape clean and happy as possible. This paper, because of the focus on epigenetic age being the key driver of aging, they had 9 key biomarkers that you can keep an eye on. It gives you a benchmark to see where your markers are good and where you need some improvement. These are all tests that you can order from your doctor. So these are all what are considered the healthy ranges. Albumin, there's red blood cell distribution width, all these different ones that get at those 6 big buckets from the Hallmarks of Health. I have a little PDF that you can download for free, so you don't have to worry about taking screenshots. It's got all these values, plus all the links from today's talk if you want to read any of the science that I've been presenting here. The main takeaway is that your age, your chronological age, is not the same thing as your biological age, and that will reflect these underlying biological processes resulting in your epigenetic age, how you look for your age. Those clocks, sometimes they call it the epigenetic clock, Horvath clock, those biomarkers were found to be more accurate, which I thought was interesting. You can have 2 mice, same chronological age, but the epigenetic clock can be pushed forward, meaning you age more quickly, or it can be pushed back. So let's talk about how not to push that clock forward any sooner than necessary, shall we? Welcome, welcome. You are now entering the supplement hall of shame. First, I wanted to talk about antioxidants. Yes, I know, it's shocking. Oh no! Oxygen is both good and toxic. Food spoilage, fine art masterpieces spoil. It's all due to oxidative damage. And in particular, we have in our mitochondria, yes, say it with me, the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, I'll stop. No, I'll never stop. It's always funny. The mitochondria produce our energy, and they produce this reactive oxygen species that actually becomes more pronounced as we get older. And reactive oxygen species are on the rampage. They're just Godzilla, little Godzillas that steal electrons from everything that's in the cell. They rip those electrons out and just basically do damage. Then they can damage the mitochondria, and then those become like zombie cells, so you have fewer mitochondria. It's a shit show. I believe is the technical term. So you've got reactive oxygen species, which is why we take antioxidants to dampen that. However, and you knew there was a however, our bodies also use reactive oxygen species for certain activities. The brain will use it to help regulate blood pressure and body mass regulation and being able to feel pain. When reactive oxygen species is in balance, you can see it's just part of the cell and it's just one thing that goes on. And then where it's on the rampage, stealing electrons, causing mayhem, and it leads to cell death. Dun, 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 cue Jaws music. But because, as you can see on the right, we do need it for certain processes, you don't want to eliminate it. Yes, we don't want too much. That's where you get oxidative stress. You get a lot of chronic diseases, your biological aging, damage to DNA, which, as we discussed, one of the primary hallmarks of aging. But we do need some of it for key transcription factors, maintaining physiological functions, brain function. So that's the key thing, is you don't want to eliminate it. It needs to be kept in balance, but not, boom, the hand of doom, eliminated. What do high-dose antioxidants do? Boom! Too much ROS is removed, and then we end up out of balance. It won't surprise you knowing that high doses of beta-carotene, vitamin E, and vitamin A seem to increase mortality. Yes, you take high doses, you're probably going to die sooner. And they also found there's really no evidence to support these antioxidant supplements for primary or secondary prevention. They not only don't have benefit, but they do harm. So that's why I'm a big hell no. With high-dose antioxidants, save your money and save your lifespan. We need some ROS. We just don't need too much. It needs to be in balance. And that is not promoting balance. All right, let's talk about glucosamine and chondroitin. We need to talk about cartilage. There's three main types of cartilage. There's hyaline cartilage. It's from the Greek for glass. In your nose and your ribs, your trachea. Elastic cartilage for things that need to pop back into shape, like your ears. And then fibrocartilage. That's where people take glucosamine and chondroitin for fibrocartilage. So tendons, the end of muscles where they attach to bones, and ligaments, things that attach bone to bone. We find it in the cartilage that cushions in your knees. That's why a lot of people take it for osteoarthritis. The idea being it helps prevent breakdown. The slower the breakdown of the cushioning, obviously, the less pain. So chondroitin is taken to help protect cells that maintain the structure of the cartilage. Again, reducing breakdown, less deterioration, less pain. How effective were they? They weren't. A small, clinically unimportant effect or nothing. At least they're not causing harm, but they're not doing much either, other than taking your money. No harm, no benefit. It's not a hell no, it's more of a yeah, no. Save your money. Get another Starbucks. Green tea extract. Green tea extract goes after reactive oxygen species. It's got antioxidant properties. And people take it to help stave off Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancer, heart disease. Miracle it's a green tea extract, miracle. No, it's not. The interventions testing program, which is super gold standard, they use mice that are not inbred and weird, and they test at different labs at the same time to try and replicate results. When they, this you'll love, it's super effed up. When they gave green tea extract to younger mice, it seemed to extend their lifespan. When they gave green tea extract to older mice, it had the opposite effect, meaning if you're older and you take green tea extract, it'll probably kill you sooner. Yay, said no one, ever. It won't surprise you, in the supplement wall of shame, it gets a big old red dot of Hell no. Sorry, not sorry, green extract. Resveratrol. Hang on a second. I can already hear like the what? Blah, blah, blah. Hear me out. Hear me out. Let's see what the science says. Resveratrol, people. Resveratrollies. Resveratrols. No, I'm kidding. Resveratrols. That's good, right? Resveratrols. The initial research on resveratrol amazingness was based on the idea that it activated sirtuins and turned back your epigenetic clock. However, when a couple of really highfalutin researchers were trying to replicate the results, what they found was that it was the fluorescent dye that had been used. It was the fluorescent dye that was activating the sirtuins. So the best spin on it is that the original resveratrol sirtuin results were based on a lab error, let's just say. And it wasn't for not giving big enough doses. When they gave mice who were about a year old 2 different doses of resveratrol, it did show up in the blood. It was detectable. It did not extend the lifespan, which isn't surprising given it was the dye activating the sirtuins, not the resveratrol. Was it harmless? Unfortunately, no. This study found that the primary impact is to induce stress, but actually is harmful. Not only is there no benefit to resveratrol, it's actively stressing out your cells. Yeah, thanks, but no thanks, or AKA hell no. And probiotics. I know, hear me out. I got some science on my side. If there was a gold standard in studies and research reviews and systematic reviews and meta-analyses, it's Cochrane. They did 17 different systematic reviews. They looked at, God, you name it, gastrointestinal issues, gynecological, respiratory. It just kept turning up a big zilch, nothing. There's a lot of marketing for probiotics, a lot of marketing. However, there's just nothing to really support it. Worse yet, probiotics can be harmful, especially if people are taking immunosuppressive drugs. It can actually give worse outcomes. No benefit has been shown that they can actively be harmful as well. Big ol' no. The better way is make your own probiotics, make your own sauerkraut, make your own yogurt, make your own kefir. The go-to is Sandor Katz, this wild fermentation. If it can be fermented and create microbes, he shows you how. And his nickname is Sandor Kraut, which I think is the cutest thing ever. Save your money on store-bought probiotics that really won't do anything for you and they might even hurt you. And ferment some stuff. I've made sauerkraut. Pro tip, get a food processor for all that chopping, but you can make your own delicious sauerkraut. It's pretty good. I think the key thing is, and I'm not trying to be all conspiracy here, but I kind of like this graphic. A lot of supplement brands that people swear by are owned by Big Pharma. It's easier and more lucrative for big pharmaceutical companies to launch a supplement than it is a drug because of all the clinical testing. It's really expensive. Supplements are way easier and way less regulated. Just be aware that it's a lot of marketing behind that. And yes, they pay for a lot of the testing when we're looking at the science. However, when you start seeing results replicated in different labs and the outcome seems to be pretty similar, regardless of funding source, you can kind of say, all right, that's not just all marketing hype. Just be aware there's a huge amount of corporate money involved in the supplement industry. And if anything, it's growing and growing. So buyer beware. We can say goodbye to the supplement hall of shame. Now we are entering the supplement hall of fame. Come in. Starting with low-dose niacin. I know, an oldie but a goodie. I bet you didn't expect to see that here. Niacin brings us back to NAD+, which is food for the PARPs, enzymes that are in charge of DNA repair, and the sirtuins, the enzymes that maintain epigenetic integrity. They compete for the same food, NAD+. So how can we give both of them more NAD+? NAD+ can be made from a number of different things, including your basic niacin, nicotinic acid, and not even fancy no flush. Now, it's a mouthful. NMN in mice has been shown to activate the sirtuins. The thing about NMN is the mice were given what's equivalent in human dosages, like 3 grams. That's just super, super expensive. Whereas basic niacin, it's been around a while. It's tested and I've heard referred to as poor man's NAD+ booster. Unlike the resveratrol, NAD+ and the sirtuins, there's a connection that's crucial in longevity and aging. Just go for the low dose, maybe 50 to 60 milligrams a day. At that low dose, you don't have to worry about that flush. Take it twice a day. That will support your NAD+, make your PARPs and your sirtuins happy little campers. And happy sirtuins means you're not speeding up your epigenetic clock. The first entry on the scoreboard of the Supplement Hall of Fame, low dose niacin. And now, collagen peptides. The thing about collagen is for building muscle, it's a really, really crappy protein. It lacks enough leucine, which is the key amino acid that stimulates muscle growth. It has no tryptophan at all. Usually animal sources have all of the 20 key amino acids. So collagen for muscle, crap. However, for skincare, it's a different ballgame. We have a lot of different bacterial species on our skin and within our skin. It's our interface between us and the environment. Plus, you want your skin to look good. And if your skin looks good, it's an indicator of skin health, how your barrier is functioning. Let's take a look at your skin. I love this graphic. It was from Physionic, one of my favorite health bloggers. You can see that collagen is below your epidermis and down in the dermis. And collagen fibers, it's like a building. It's the foundation part that helps hold it up, that helps hold up the building. The stronger the collagen pillars are, the more flat the surface of your skin will be. If they start to fall over or collapse, that's when you get valleys, wrinkles. The fibroblasts down there are what create the collagen, right down there in your dermis. As you can see on the left, collagen is twisted. It's got a twisted matrix structure. It's the amino acid glycine and typically 2 other amino acids, proline and hydroxyproline. They all work together and then get twisted like that in these collagen fibers that hold up your skin and keep the wrinkles at bay. There's a lot of glycine in collagen. When the collagen is less strong and less plentiful, the top collapses. Hello, wrinkles. One of the arguments against taking collagen peptides for your skin is that, well, if you're getting enough protein, it's got the same amino acids, the glycine and proline, you don't need to take it. But there are transporters, receptors on your fibroblasts. A tripeptide like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline can go right in to the cell. So there are receptors for those di and tripeptides, which is very cool. You can see here, if you look at the membrane transporter, the glycine and proline, hydroxyproline, those di and tripeptides, boop, they hop on the membrane transporter and bam, they are given access in that form to the fibroblasts. That's a mechanism. What do the trials on actual humans say? Well, they found that 12 weeks, so 3 months of supplementing with collagen peptides actually increased the fiber network, the cross-linking, and the length. The underpinnings of the skin were stronger, and it leads to a more flat surface, meaning wrinkles be gone. The other thing is tendon metabolism. Your tendons are the end of your muscles and what they attach to bones. Those are most active when you're weight training and right after. So this is affected when I take my collagen peptides. Take half of your collagen peptides about half an hour before you work out, and then half after, and at that same time every day. And it helps your tendon tissue to remodel and to heal and to grow stronger. Consumer Lab has given these brands the thumbs up. Vital Proteins chocolate, love that. I like the idea of chocolate collagen peptides because there is kind of an edge to it that I'm not that thrilled about when I mix it in with just plain water and hork it back. It's like, With collagen peptides, 10 grams a day seems to be the optimal amount. Whether you get it from marine sources, animal sources, all okay. Now, there's a molecule that tends to be included in collagen peptide formulations. I give your joints a lube job. What molecule am I? Well, that is hyaluronic acid. The key thing about hyaluronic acid is it loves, loves, loves water. It attracts water, plumping up the skin from below. They'll use it as a filler, often injectably. They'll put it in cushioning on your knees. You can take it as a supplement, often in collagen, or you can apply it topically. If you're going to apply it topically, the molecular weight matters because it's a big old molecule. The high molecular weight will just sit on the surface of the skin. The good thing about that is if you get out of the shower and you slather on a cream with high molecular weight, hyaluronic acid, it'll keep your skin nice and moisturized. The really low weight can get into the skin, but it can be associated with inflammation. To keep your skin moisturized, put it on topically, like Protocol's Water Lock will just sit on the skin. Alternatively, if you want to impact your fibroblasts, just take it orally and it will migrate to your skin. 3 months of supplementing increase the levels significantly. Here's some brands that are okay. Now, sleep. Shakespeare wrote about it. He said it's the balm of hurt minds and the chief nourisher in life's feast. And you can throw all the science you want at me, but you know yourself, there is just nothing, almost nothing, as awesome as a really good, restful, peaceful, awesome night's sleep. Few things are as great for making you feel amazing and supernovae. I have a twofold strategy I use. One involving melatonin that's made in your third eye, your pineal gland, which produces less and less. When you were a teenager, tons of it. Remember, you could sleep when you were a teenager, way back in the day. And by the time you're in your 80s, it's about 10x less. So you're not imagining it. Your melatonin levels are falling, and then you're not sleeping. You have a deficiency, and it worsens. It speeds up your aging clock. It's just this vicious circle of sleeplessness leading to more sleeplessness. It sucks, right? It sucks. The relationship is so strong that it could be considered a predictor for how your software is going to be corrupted or not corrupted. Your epigenetic landscape. When they did a study of healthy adults, this is a small study, but these were people age 55 and above, they gave them lower dose and higher dose. The lower dose gave them a tendency towards better sleep, but 5 milligrams increased their sleep, the amount that they could sleep and the quality of their sleep. The thing with melatonin, taking more won't make you go to sleep faster. So start low and work your way up and take it about 30 minutes to an hour or so before you go to sleep. There's not really very many adverse effects reported, but just proceed slowly. Like, don't be megadosing it. Don't start small and see how it goes. Consumer Lab gives these 3 brands big old thumbs up. The other thing is being aware of the way your caffeine intake is affecting your sleep. The FDA puts 400 milligrams of caffeine at about the maximum that you'll still be able to get your coffee and your sleep, as long as you stop having caffeine about 12 hours before you go to sleep. So if you want to go to sleep by 10 at night, start curtailing your caffeine around 9:30-ish in the morning. What does 400 milligrams of caffeine look like? Well, I created a Caffeine-O-Meter. Starbucks Blonde Roast coming in at 360 is even more than dark roast. I was surprised by that. And that little thing of 5-hour energy, the extra, that's up there. 2 of those and you've actually gone over your 400 milligrams. Matcha tea and Pepsi is more on the easier caffeine side of things. And Fresca and Sprite have 0. For sleep, melatonin will help you, but you don't want to work against it by then just slugging back a bunch of caffeine, and definitely give yourself that 12-hour window. So 2 cups of coffee. Stretch them out and enjoy them. I put melatonin and caffeine control in my supplements hall of fame. All right, taurine. This is more of a speculative play. They did find in this big study that during aging, this particular amino acid starts to really decrease in everything from worms to monkeys and mice. They speculate that it contributes to the aging hallmarks. It's involved in all aspects, from the primary damage to stem cell exhaustion and on down. It appeared to impact all of the hallmarks of aging. I tend to use a lot of Now. I love Now. I think it's an awesome brand. That's what I use, but any of these are fine. Consumer Labs gives them the A-OK. In terms of dosing, it's about 1 gram per decade. I do 4 or 5 grams-ish between meals and with water. Glynac, another speculative play. However, this brings us back to reactive oxygen species. The main antioxidant that engulfs the ROS and defangs it and takes it from this rampaging, angry molecule to, it turns, one of the side effects is water once it's been defanged, is glutathione. The primary components, 2 amino acids, glycine and N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. The researchers were saying it's the power of 3, glycine and NAC, cysteine, and glutathione, GSH. You've got the power of 3. I love that. It's like, dun, 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 dun. I feel like I should have a cape, right? Dun, 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 dun. Power of 3. It had all sorts of effect, primary and on down. Impacts on inflammation, mitochondrial function, and multiple hallmarks of aging. The key thing is cells regulate their own glutathione. It's a super powerful antioxidant. Sometimes it upregulates, it downregulates. And the most effective way is to just give it the glycine and NAC that it needs. And it will do its multiple pathways and create glutathione as needed. We provide the basic building materials and your body does the rest. In terms of amount, 3 grams of each. Now, I will warn you, NAC is the sourest, nastiest stuff on the planet. It's so sour. Oh my God, you have to hork it down. And pro tip, when you get your NAC, just get the capsules. Lastly, creatine monohydrate. Not just for gym bros. Your whole body uses creatine to make energy. Not just muscles, but brains as well, with cognitive function. Anything where you've got high energy demands, creatine is there. Exercise, muscle, brain function, all the things. It's subject to a lot of myths. Oh my God, it'll hurt my kidneys, it'll make my hair fall out. No, it won't. There's been over 500 peer-reviewed studies, and the outcomes are just, if there's a God tier supplement, creatine, I would put it up there. Better bone mineral density, better strength, cognitive function, better body composition, brain performance. Creatine, it's awesome. Just get creatine monohydrate. It's the cheapest, it's tested. I use Optimum Nutrition, but these are all consumer lab approved brands. Just don't fall for buffered creatine or no, don't be falling for nonsense. If someone's telling you our creatine is better, run away. They're better at trying to take your money, is what they're better at. 3 to 5 grams a day. You don't need to worry about a loading dose. Take it every day and you'll get to the same place. So that is my full stack in my supplement hall of fame. All of this I put in my little supplements PDF, just Age Like a Supernova /masterclasses. Download it for free. All the science references are there. Other free stuff, I have a little downloadable PDF on fiber that will help you get your microbes all happy. If you wanted to read my original, the OG book that started it all, agelikeasupernova.com, you can read it there for free. Or get the TLDR handbook. So that's what I suggest you do next. What if you stay in blissful ignorance? People really trust the supplement industry. There's a lot of, I feel like, unearned trust, but there's a lot of trust. People are very swayed by the images on the packaging. Remember, Big Pharma owns a lot of supplements, so they have big advertising budgets. They can make packaging look attractive, and they can market it. They have deep pockets. Don't be fooled by the pretty packaging. There's enough fraudulent, weird stuff that it could constitute a public threat. I don't know if it's a public health threat. I just know it's smart to not be fooled by marketing. In cases where it is a public threat, like green tea extract, serious liver injury, weight loss supplements, stay away from them. Yohimbe, significant mortality and renal failure, kidneys. Mawang, stroke, energy products, in particular weight loss, tend to be associated with heart issues. The New England Journal of Medicine published a study. 50% of emergency room visits having to do with taking supplements came from weight loss and energy products. Those are harmful. Stay away from those. And remember, it's marketing because people believe that these supplements are healthier and less hazardous when the fact is they don't have anything close to the testing of synthetic medication. It's actually just the opposite. Buyer definitely beware. The global market for supplements is growing. The more you know, the more you know. So what are our key takeaways? Stay away from anything on the wall of shame. If nothing else, save your money. It's not doing anything for you. And the worst case is it's doing harm to your health. Instead of taking you towards the hallmarks of health, it's nudging you or pushing you in the direction of the hallmarks of aging. Yeah, no thanks. The Supplement Hall of Fame, backed by science, some more time-tested, some a little more speculative, but more to this particular stack than just marketing and unicorns and rainbows. It can feel unsettling and lonely when you first get struck with invisible woman syndrome, but also those rules from when you're young don't apply anymore. You can shrug off the oughts and the shoulds and live life on your terms. Start by being in your body. I think supplements are one way to be in your body and enjoy it more, because that's a transformation we're after, right? When you start to be in your body and you feel uninvisible, that's when you transform from being invisible to uninvisible to being a bright, shiny, sparkly supernova. That's when you make your mark on the world. And that's awesome. The next masterclass we'll be talking about supernovas and exercise. If exercise was a drug, holy cow. It's amazing. We'll talk about the smart way to get the most out of it in the least amount of time. Until next time, remember, eat your protein, lift your weights, eat your fiber, take smart supplements, and most importantly, get your supernova on.